Today's topic is opioid analgesic. So before going to discuss about the opioids and opium, so first of all I'm going to start this lesson with what is analgesic. So we know that analgesic, which is agent which relieves the pain. Then come to the pain, because sometimes in examination the question is also asked what is pain and how and discuss about the opioid analgesic. So here I am briefly explaining what is the pain and how it is generated. So the pain, it is an unpleasant and unbearable sense produced by a external and internal noxious substances, noxious stimulus. Means a noxious stimulus which is generated inside the body, either it is by the external activity or internally it is generated, which is causing the sense of pain that is unpleasant and unbearable. Actually this pain is useful. Means it is indicating that something is happening at that where actually pain is producing. So in that part it is indicating that something is happening, something that your cell is damaged or tissue is damaged. So that is indicating by generating this pain. But sometimes but it is not but this pain is causing discomfort and suffering. So that's why, because of these two symptoms, we need to we need to inhibit this pain. So here, so these are the agents. That is what analgesics are, which relieves the pain. But here they are not without affecting its noxious stimulus. So these are the analgesic. They are not affecting the noxious. They are not affecting the noxious stimulus. So by which this pain is produced, but they are causing the. But mainly they are. So the analgesic which relieves the pain. So without affecting the analgesics are relieving the pain without affecting the noxious stimulus, means by which the pain is produced. So they are not inhibiting this noxious stimulus. And then how they are inhibiting this pain sensation, so we will discuss in detail in coming session, that is in the pharmacology of the opioids. So here, and now come to the opioids. So these are maybe you already know about that these opioids in cognosy. These are a dark brown poppy seeds or poppy capsules, which are called as Papaver somniferum. So it contains two types of alkaloids. That is, one is phenanthrene derivatives, and second one benzoisoquinoline derivatives. In the phenanthrene derivatives, that is morphine and codeine, thebaine, and here papaverine and noscapine. This papaverine, noscapine and thebaine are non-analgesic. Only these morphine and codeine are used as analgesics. So in your syllabus, he is saying that is opioid analgesic. So that's why I am discussing here about the opioid analgesic. And one more point is there, that is in 1806 a pharmacist named Serturner, he is isolated a chemical constituent of this opium seeds, that is, and named it as a morphine. Actually this morphine depends on the name of god, those who are believed, which gives the euphoria. So depend on that they are named it as a morphine. And here two things are there. One is opiates and opiates and opioids. Opiates and opioids. Opiates means these are compound derived from opium which are chemically related to morphine. Opiates are chemically related to morphine, and opioids are which gives morphine like action, So why I am telling that, and here one quotation is there, that is pethidine and endorphins. Is what? Pethidine and endorphins are opioids but not opiates. Opioids but not opiates. What does it mean? That is what these pethidine and endorphins are chemically not related to morphine, but they are giving a morphine-like action. So, in spite of this morphines, in some cases, if morphine poisoning or opioid poisonings are there, so we can also use this in endorphin and pethidine, which gives morphine-like action, but they are not morphines. So now come to the morphine. So morphine is principal alkaloid in opium, is widely used, and the pharmacology of this morphine, first is what? CNS action. Actually, for showing its morphine, to showing its action on CNS, so they have to particularly depend on three types of receptors, so that are called as opium receptors or opioid receptors. So that is two types are there, that is mu, kappa and delta. In mu, there are in mu receptor, in mu receptor there are three types are there, and in kappa two types are there, and in delta only one type is there. So these are the three types of opioid receptors are there. And now come to the pain. It means how these morphines are giving is analgesic action. How they are giving this analgesic action. Before going to understand this analgesic action, the pharmacology and pathophysiology of this morphine and pain, so first of all discuss about the how this pain is produced. And here, for example, in the hand, if I inserted a sharp end pin, so immediately what happened in this area, prostaglandins are released. These prostaglandins are having the action on nociceptors, and these nociceptors are available on this nerve ending. So this is the neuron, and this is the nerve ending. On this nerve ending, when these nociceptors are available, on this nociceptor, when the prostaglandin, which is released because of the insertion of this pin, so immediately this nociceptor causing the activation of this neuron, that is presynaptic neuron, and this presynaptic neuron send the signal to the spinal cord. In the spinal cord, so here up to here they bring that impulse, and here from the nerve endings, they are releasing two neurotransmitter, that is substance P, glutamate, along with this norepinephrine, and 5-HT is also released in small quantity, and these two are the target, so which are mainly involved in the generation of the pain. So these substance P and glutamates are targeting on the postsynaptic neuron. So this postsynaptic neuron, so here I am drawing. So So this is the presynaptic neuron from which the substance P and glutamates are released. And on the postsynaptic neuron, here two types of receptors are there, that is NMDA receptors and AMPA receptor. NMDA and AMPA receptor. In these two receptors, they are causing the open of calcium channels. So when this substance P and substance P is bind on this NMDA and AMPA receptor, it is causing the influx of calcium. So means here it is causing the positive charged ions or positive charged ion number is increased. So because of this positive ion charge is increased, it is causing the action potential is generated. So whatever the pain carrying signal is reaches here, so that is carry forward to this postsynaptic neuron by causing the generation of this action potential in the postsynaptic neuron. And this action potential, in the generation of this action potential in the postsynaptic neuron, this NMDA and AMPA receptor causing the influx of calcium ions. So here this calcium ions are main reason for the carry forward of this pain signal to the brain. So, and this postsynaptic neuron carry forwarding this signal to brain. How they are carry forwarding? So to the brain. So that is what, to the midbrain. That is what pons, medulla, and brainstem. So here finally, when they reaches to the brain, in the brain, so they are having a thalamus. So to the thalamus, they release this. In the thalamus, they release this signal. So this is the thalamus, and we know that the thalamus is a relay station. Thalamus is a relay station. So this thalamus, after receiving this pain signal, so they have to relay this pain signal exactly, because actually what happened, so when I inserted a nail or a sharp end pin at the tip of my finger, so here only I am feeling pain. Why? Because this thalamus is playing a major role in this pain generation at the particular area only. Why? Because this thalamus is giving this triggering this signal to that particular area which is responsible for that area. For example, if I'm inserting the pin at the fingertip, so that's why, so this thalamus has to be released that signal to that particular area which is responsible for this fingertip. So that's why we are feeling that pain exactly at the damaging of the tissue or cell where the noxious agents are produced. So there only we are feeling a pain signal. So this thalamus is it is a relay station. Now it has to be release the signal to that particular area, and we know that brain is occupying at for example, and here this is the trunk, and this is the head, and this is the hand, and this is the face, means, and these are the genitals. So, and again here right side body, hand, face, and again genitals. Means, for example, here I am inserting the pin here in the left hand finger. So it has to be release this signal on this right hand part. Here it release this signal, and again from this part again the signal, that is what a descending signal again reaches to the spinal cord. From the spinal cord again it sends the signal to that particular area, then it causing the feeling of pain. Okay, so this is about the pathophysiology, simple pathophysiology of the pain. And now come to how opium or opioids relieves the pain. And we already discussed that these opioid, for showing its action, these opioids are depending on the three types of receptors. That is what mu, there are two types are there, mu1 and mu2, whereas kappa, three are there, k1, k2, k3, and delta receptor is only one type of receptor. So they are depending on this receptor. And now I am showing you where these receptors are located. That is, they are located on the presynaptic nerve ending, and also they are located on the postsynaptic nerve ending. So, and we know that these opioid receptors, that is mu and delta receptors, they are particularly a type of GI type of receptor. And we know that what is the mechanism of action of this GI type of receptor? They are inhibiting the adenyl cyclase. So because of that, calcium channels are closed. And also this GI alpha subunit, after activating it is causing the opening of potassium channels. So here two activities are occur. That is what one is calcium channels are blocked and potassium channels are open. So when the opiums are inserted, these opiums are come and bind on this mu type of receptor. If it is mu1 and mu2, mu3, mu1 and mu2. So two types are there, mu1 and mu2. So if the opium is come and bind here, it is causing a calcium channel blocking. So because of that, what happened? And actually, whatever the substance P and glutamate neurotransmitters are released in the presynaptic and postsynaptic synapse, so because of which they are binding on NMDA and AMPA. So we already discussed, that is how the pain signal is carried forwarded into the postsynaptic neuron. So this substance P and glutamate are playing a major role in carry forwarding the sensory signal or the pain signal to the postsynaptic neuron. But the substance P and glutamates are stored in at the nerve endings. They are stored in the vesicles. So we know that the calcium is needed to push these vesicles towards the end of the nerve ending wall. So then only this exocytosis is occur. So there only these release substance P or glutamates are released into the synapse. So here what happened? So when you administer this opium is causing the closing of the calcium channel. Because of that, whatever the calcium is required to exocytosis, this exocytosis is not done. So because of that, the substance P and glutamate, the neurotransmitters which are mainly carry forwarding this pain signal, are not released into the synapse. So there is no chances of the action potential is that is what pain signal is not carry forwarded to the postsynaptic neuron. So that is the first target. That is what presynaptic nerve ending calcium channels are blocked. Second target, even though if there is whatever the substance P and glutamators are already released into the synapse and already they carry forwarded the pain signal to the postsynaptic neuron. Now what happened? So here also these opiums are work. So whatever these opiums are inserted in our body, so that opiums are now they are binding on the postsynaptic neuron. And here in the postsynaptic neuron, they are not blocking the calcium channel. Now they are causing the opening of the potassium channel. We know that if the positive charge inside of the neuron is decreased, if the positive charge influx is causing action potential, we know that, and the negative charge influx is causing no action potential. So here what is happening here, because of the potassium channels are open, whatever the positive charge containing potassium ions are released outside from the neuron. From the inside of the neuron, the potassiums are released into the outside of the neuron. Because of that, the positive charge inside of the postsynaptic neuron is decreased. So even though action potential is generated by the substance P and glutamate, which is reasonable for reason for the carry forwarding of this pain signal, that action potential is now cancelled. So means even though the pain signal is carry forward to the postsynaptic neuron, so that carry forwarded pain signal will be collapsed here in the postsynaptic neuron only. Means they are not forwarding to the thalamus. So because of that, there is no chances of the feeling of pain sensation. So this is the main mechanism of action of the opioids, that is by first target and second target. Okay, so in the second target, the mu receptors are available on the postsynaptic neuron. Here they are opening the potassium channels, because of which the positive charge is decreased in postsynaptic neuron. So hyperpolarization or repolarization occurs. So no action potential is generated in the postsynaptic neuron, which is actually needed for forwarding the pain signal from the presynaptic neuron to postsynaptic neuron to the thalamus. Next. So this is how opium is showing its action, analgesic action. So next is what? Sedation. If you increase the same opioid concentration or dose of the opium, so it is also causing the sedation. Second pharmacological action of this opium is what? Sedation. So at higher doses it is causing, at higher doses it is causing sedation. It induces the sedation, and also the next stage is what? Coma. But we cannot opiums are, we cannot use as a anticonvulsant. Very important point. Opiums are not used as a anticonvulsant action. Why? Because these opiums itself, they are causing the generation of sometimes it is also precipitate the convulsion or epileptic or convulsions in the body. So that's why these opiums are not used as a anti-epileptic agent. Next, euphoria. Now here the drug addicts are come. So actually, how the drug addicts are, why they are taking this opium? On this opium, it is one movie is also released, that is what Udta Punjab in Hindi. So mainly it is depend on this opium only. So they are how they are why they are people are taking this opium as a drug as a for euphoria. So now I'm explaining how this opium is helpful in the generation of the euphoria. What is euphoria? It is a state of happiness. It is a state of happiness without having any reason of happy feeling, and now you want to feel a happiness. In that condition, the people are taking this opium, and this opium is not taking orally. They are injected through the IV, and there where they are feeling a euphoria. For the euphoria, dopamine is responsible for giving a euphoria state. Dopamine is responsible, means more dopamine is more euphoria. Okay, now how opiums are inducing or producing this euphoria condition? Actually, inside of the brain, this dopamine is released from the dopaminergic neurons. We already discussed about this in the Parkinson's disease. That is what dopaminergic neurons.